Steelers Nation is entering unfamiliar territory as the future of TJ Watt, the face of the Pittsburgh defense for nearly a decade, becomes one of the hottest topics not only in local media but across the entire NFL landscape. Just a few months ago, the idea of Watt wearing another team's uniform would have sounded absurd. This is a player who has defined modern Steelers football: toughness, relentlessness, leadership, and elite production. He is the standard by which every other defender on this roster is measured. But now, with reports emerging that teams like the Las Vegas Raiders have inquired about his availability and that contract negotiations remain at a standstill, the situation is shifting from hypothetical to potentially real. At the core of this drama is a contract impasse that is more complicated than it might appear from the outside. Watt's current deal, signed in 2021, made him one of the highest-paid defenders in NFL history at the time. That deal included significant guarantees that reflected Pittsburgh's faith in Watt's ability to anchor their defense for years to come. But as NFL contracts often do, the structure is now backloaded. The Steelers have already paid out most of the guaranteed money, and the remaining cap hits over the next 2 years are substantial. Watt, for his part, knows his worth. He is seeking not just another extension, but one that would carry him into his mid-30s with significant guaranteed money, protecting him against injury or a decline in performance. The Steelers, historically conservative when it comes to second extensions for players over 30, are hesitating. And that hesitation is exactly what has caught the attention of rival teams. In today's NFL, pass rushers are at a premium, and players like Watt do not hit the trade market often. Even with his age and recent injury history, Watt remains an elite disruptor who can change games. His impact is felt every snap, drawing double teams, forcing offenses to adjust protections, and setting the tone for the entire defense. The Las Vegas Raiders, for example, have been particularly aggressive this offseason as they attempt to rebuild their pass rush and defensive identity. They view Watt as an immediate upgrade and a potential cornerstone, even if only for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Reports indicate that while a first-round pick might not be on the table, teams are prepared to offer creative packages, multiple day 2 picks, players, and cap relief to entice Pittsburgh to consider a deal. This puts the Steelers front office in a difficult position. On one hand, they are clearly in win-now mode. The acquisitions of Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, and Jonnu Smith show that Pittsburgh is not rebuilding or planning for a long-term future. They are aiming to win immediately. In that context, trading away their best defensive player would seem counterintuitive, even self-destructive. Watt remains a force multiplier, the kind of player who makes everyone around him better and whose leadership extends beyond the stat sheet. On the other hand, the Steelers face genuine financial constraints. The contracts they have handed out this offseason have pushed them close to the cap limit, and with Rodgers carrying a massive salary and other stars under expensive deals, every dollar now counts. Extending Watt at his current market value, or even close to it, would require sacrifices elsewhere, possibly weakening depth or forcing tough decisions about future free agents. There is also the matter of precedent. The Steelers have long prided themselves on rewarding their stars, but also knowing when to walk away. This organization has a history of making hard decisions, from letting franchise icons like Troy Polamalu retire rather than continue on costly deals, to parting ways with beloved veterans like James Harrison when the business side dictated it. The question now is whether TJ Watt's situation should fall into that same category, or whether his status as a modern franchise cornerstone demands a different approach. What complicates this even further is the reaction from the fan base and the locker room. Fans are watching every development closely, many expressing outrage that Watt's future is even in question. Inside the team, Watt is not just respected, he is revered. His work ethic, preparation, and consistency are admired by teammates young and old. How the front office handles this negotiation will send a clear message about its priorities. Is Pittsburgh still the team that rewards loyalty and performance, or has it fully embraced the cold, analytics-driven approach that prioritizes cap management over culture?
The trade interest surrounding TJ Watt is not surprising when you examine the kind of impact he continues to have on the field despite entering his 30s. Watt remains one of the most productive and disruptive edge defenders in the NFL, and his skill set is something that almost every team covets. His ability to wreck an offensive game plan, draw double teams, and create chaos in both pass rush and run defense makes him a rare asset. Even last season, when he battled through nagging injuries, Watt still posted double-digit sacks and ranked among the league leaders in pressures and quarterback hits. His impact goes beyond statistics. He commands attention on every snap, opening up opportunities for teammates and forcing opposing quarterbacks into hurried decisions. For a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, who are desperate for defensive playmakers, Watt represents more than just a talented player. He represents a potential identity shift. The Raiders have struggled for years to field a consistent defense and have lacked a true game-changing pass rusher since the departure of Khalil Mack. Acquiring Watt would instantly give them a defensive leader who can elevate the play of those around him and help change the culture in their locker room. It is no wonder that reports indicate the Raiders are willing to explore creative trade packages, even if they are not prepared to part with a first-round pick. Those packages could include multiple second- and third-round picks, possibly a rotational player, and cap relief designed to help Pittsburgh manage its financial situation. But this is not just about the Raiders. Other teams around the league are watching Pittsburgh closely, aware that the contract impasse could open a rare window to acquire an elite defender. Even teams with established defenses such as the Dolphins or Eagles could see Watt as a luxury addition that pushes them over the top. The fact that these teams are circling reflects how highly Watt is still regarded around the league, even if some analysts question whether his age and injury history should temper expectations about his future production. From a financial perspective, any team trading for Watt would be taking on a significant cap commitment. His current deal carries cap hits in excess of $30 million per year over the next 2 seasons. That is part of the reason why a first-round pick might not be on the table. Teams recognize that they are not just giving up draft capital, they are also absorbing a large financial obligation. For the Steelers, this complicates the decision. Trading Watt would provide some immediate cap relief, but at the cost of losing their most dominant defensive player at a time when they are supposed to be all in for a championship run. The reaction from Steelers fans has been swift and emotional. Social media is filled with posts demanding that the front office resolve this situation quickly and keep Watt in Pittsburgh long term. Many fans view Watt as more than just a player. They see him as the embodiment of Steelers football, a link to the franchise's storied defensive tradition. Letting him go, especially for anything less than a first-round pick, would be seen by many as a betrayal of that tradition. The loyalty that fans feel toward Watt is deeply personal, built on years of watching him give everything for this team, play through injuries, and consistently deliver elite performance. Inside the locker room, this situation has undoubtedly created tension as well. Watt is a respected leader whose work ethic sets the tone for the entire defense. Younger players look up to him, and veterans respect the example he sets. How the front office handles this negotiation will send a message not just to Watt, but to the entire team. If the Steelers appear unwilling to reward one of their all-time great defenders, it could impact morale and influence how other key players view their own future with the franchise. This is what makes the current situation so delicate. The Steelers front office is trying to balance short-term competitiveness with long-term fiscal responsibility. But in doing so, they risk alienating both their locker room and their fan base. The reality is that Watt's value to the Steelers extends beyond what any trade package could provide. He is more than just an elite pass rusher. He is a leader, a symbol, and a player who defines the culture of this team.
From our perspective, the decision the Steelers face with TJ Watt is about far more than numbers on a spreadsheet. This is a defining moment for Pittsburgh's identity, culture, and credibility, both in the locker room and with the fan base. While trade speculation is understandable, given the contract impasse, age considerations, and cap constraints, the truth is simple. Watt is not a player you move unless you absolutely have no other choice, and Pittsburgh is not at that point. Yes, Watt is 31. Yes, he comes with a large cap hit. Yes, his recent injury history has forced the front office to think carefully about how much guaranteed money they can responsibly offer him moving forward. But even acknowledging all of that, Watt remains an elite player at one of the NFL's most valuable positions. His production has not fallen off a cliff. He is still a top 5 edge rusher, and more importantly, he is a leader whose presence elevates those around him on and off the field. If you truly believe that you are in a win-now window, as the acquisitions of Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, and others suggest, then trading your best defensive player simply does not align with that vision. Furthermore, the notion that Pittsburgh would not even receive a first-round pick in return should give the front office pause. Trading Watt for a package of second and third-round picks and some cap relief might look attractive on paper in terms of future flexibility, but what would that really accomplish? The Steelers are not rebuilding. They do not have time to wait for rookie defenders to develop into consistent starters. They need proven impact players now, and no draft pick in 2025 can replicate Watt's immediate impact. There is also the locker room dynamic to consider. Watt is not just a veteran player. He is the emotional heartbeat of this team's defense. His work ethic, toughness, and consistency have set the standard in Pittsburgh for years. Moving him now would send a dangerous message to other players about how this organization values loyalty and leadership. Younger players looking up to Watt would take notice. Veterans who have sacrificed for this franchise would take notice. And that erosion of trust could have ripple effects far beyond the 2025 season. The same is true for the fan base. Steelers fans are loyal, passionate, and deeply connected to the franchise's defensive legacy. From Mean Joe Green to Jack Lambert to James Harrison, Pittsburgh has built its reputation on defense, and Watt has been the most visible link in that chain for the past decade. Letting him go, especially in a trade that is perceived as driven by finances rather than football, would alienate many fans who expect this team to uphold its proud tradition. So what should the Steelers do? The answer is simple, but not easy. Find a way to make this extension work. That may require creativity in contract structure, such as backloaded guarantees, performance incentives, or roster bonuses that protect the team in case of injury decline. It may require difficult conversations with Watt's camp about realistic expectations given his age and injury history. But these are negotiations worth having, because the alternative, trading Watt for anything less than a blockbuster return, would damage this team far more than any cap hit. And let's be clear, Watt still has several elite years left if he can stay healthy. Even if his production declines slightly, his impact as a leader and tone setter is irreplaceable. For a team hoping to compete with the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Ramsey, and others, keeping a defensive star like Watt in the fold is not optional, it is essential. This is the time for the Steelers to show the entire NFL that they still understand what makes this franchise special. Culture, loyalty, and leadership matter, and TJ Watt embodies all three. The front office must step up, bridge the gap, and get this deal done, because if they let Watt walk, they won't just lose a player, they will lose part of the soul of this team. To Steelers Nation, let your voices be heard. Comment, share your thoughts, and demand that this organization reward the player who has given everything for this franchise. And stay locked in with us, because this offseason just got even more critical for the future of Steelers football.